Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to crack the code on a huge part of everyday Portuguese conversation, the regular ER verbs. You know, if you want to talk about what you do, what you eat, or what you understand, this is absolutely key. Okay, let's dive right in.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. These are things we do every single day, right? Well, in Portuguese, they all conveniently belong to one core group of verbs. And the cool thing is, once you nail this pattern, you can start building real, actual sentences, like today.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with why these verbs are so important. Then we'll learn the core pattern. It's super simple. We'll look at a couple of easy spelling adjustments, see them used in real sentences, and then, this is the fun part, you'll get to practice a little. Let's get to it.
All right, first things first, let's talk about just how essential this verb group is. I'm not kidding, you will see them absolutely everywhere.
We're not talking about some fancy, obscure verbs you'll never use. Nope. These are the building blocks. They're the words for fundamental, everyday actions. Getting these down is seriously a giant leap forward in your fluency.
Okay, now for the really good news. There's a super simple, repeatable formula for all of these verbs. This isn't about memorizing hundreds of different words. It's about learning one single pattern you can use over and over again.
And that's it. Seriously, that's the whole secret. It's just two little steps. First, you find the main part of the verb, the stem, by just chopping off that ER at the end. Second, you stick on the right ending depending on who's doing the action. So really, your main mission is just to get comfortable with those endings. Okay, let's see this in action. It makes so much more sense when you look at it. Take comer, to eat. The stem is always com. See how that never changes? That's our foundation. So for eu, I, you just add an O and you get como. For tu, you add as, so it becomes comes. For he or she, ele or ella, it's a simple I, come. When we talk about nós, we add hemos to get comemos. And finally, for eles or ellas, they, you add m for comem. It's that same pattern every single time, stem plus ending.
All right, so there are two tiny little tweaks you need to know. But listen, they're not random rules someone just made up to make things difficult. They're actually super logical, and they exist for one reason, to make sure the verb keeps its original sound. This is something you'll see a lot in languages like Portuguese. Spelling will literally change to protect the pronunciation. Okay, so here's the deal. In Portuguese, if you put a C in front of an O, it makes that hard k sound. But for these verbs, we need that soft S sound. So what's the fix? It's simple. For the L form, which ends in an O, the C changes to a C, that little C with a tail, and that keeps the S sound.
And here's a perfect example of that in action. With the verb conhecer, to say I know, you say eu conheço with that C. But look at all the others, like tu conheces. The C is followed by an E, which already makes that soft S sound. So no fix needed. It's all about keeping the sound consistent. And guess what? It's the exact same logic for verbs that end in gj. Normally, a G before an O would make a hard G sound. To keep that soft J sound from the original verb, we just swap the G for a J when we're talking about ihwa. Just look at proteger. To say I protect, it becomes eu protejo with a J. But for tu proteges, that G is in front of an E, so it already makes the right sound. No change needed. Again, it's just a simple little tweak for that one form.
All right, enough with the rules, right? Let's see how all this stuff actually looks and sounds in the wild, in real-world sentences.
Check out these examples. In the first one, you see two different forms of beber right in the same sentence. Eu bebo and ela bebe. Two subjects, two different endings. Then you've got eles vivem with that M ending. And notice here, as crianças, the children, is treated just like eles, or they. So we get aprendem. Then a simple one, ele escreve, using that A ending. And finally, eu não compreendo with our familiar O ending. This is exactly how you'll hear and use these verbs every day.
All right, you've seen the theory, you've seen the examples, now it is your turn to jump in. Let's make this learning active so it really sticks.
So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you a few simple questions. Your job is to give a quick, one-word answer using the right form of the verb. Don't stress about it. Just go with your first instinct. Ready? Let's go. First one. Vives em Lisboa? So, how would you answer? Just one word. Yes, vivo. You take viver, drop the ER, add O. You got it. Okay, next up. ¿Comprendendes by este ejercicio? What's your one-word answer for this one?
Comprendo. Awesome. See, you're totally getting the hang of this.
Okay, switching it up a bit here. Now I'm asking a group of people, maybe you and your friend. Bebem sumo de laranja? How would you answer for we?
Bebemos. Fantastic. You caught that it was a question for us, and you used that nos form perfectly. So let's just boil this all down to a simple three-step checklist. This is all you need to remember. 1. Find the stem by dropping the ER. 2. Add the right ending for whoever you're talking about. And 3. If you're using the U form, just do a quick spelling check for those CIR or GIR verbs. That's the whole shebang. And there you have it. You now have the pattern to talk about so much more of your daily life in Portuguese. You can say what you eat, drink, where you live, what you understand. The only question left is, what are you going to go out and say in Portuguese today?